Yeah, well, first of all, there's a new Lobo in town, and Jason Lensmeyer, and most importantly, his wife Kelsey had a son, Brooks, and just like any good coach's wife, the baby was born on a day we weren't practicing. So Coach Lensmeyer is here today, and we put a picture of Coach Lensmeyer and young Brooks up for our team to see. So, congratulations to them. We're glad that everything came out healthy. So our team was excited about that. Just another day of progression, right? I mean, no real big news. Just a bunch of guys, I think, that hopefully feel the urgency as much as the coaches feel the urgency. Just another day of spring ball.
Bobby, are you in installation at all at this point?
Yeah, we're installing, and it's one thing that's anyone that's watched our offense. I know a lot of New Mexico fans had a chance to see Sam Houston State's offense here firsthand last year. It's multiple, and what we have to do is get that offense installed. And because of that, the defense, I think, really, schematically is at a disadvantage because as the offense puts a lot of that stuff in, the defense really has a hard time keeping up with that. So a big part of our defensive installation is to get our stuff in, even though it doesn't match up specifically against our offense. But I think the offense, if anybody was keeping score right now, which we're not, today is ahead of the defense. That they made some big plays. I don't know how realistic those big plays are because on defense, there were some busts and things. But, rather than worry about all the results, it's still trying to just develop individual guys.
What do you think of the quarterbacks so far?
I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious to me right now. If we stepped out there and played today, B.R. Holbrook is ahead of the other quarterbacks. All those other guys bring something to the table. David Vega is a guy. He may be a little unorthodox looking at times, but he's a competitor, and he does get the ball where the ball needs to go. Dustin Walton's a big guy with a strong arm who moves probably a little better than we thought. And then Cole Gauchi's a guy that still ought to be in high school that we're very fortunate to have here. In fact, we were in blitz drill here this morning, and he got up and made a check. I really think it was a Rio Rancho check because I've never heard that check. We don't even have that check in, but he checked something. I think he's still going back to high school in the state championship game. But, it's all four of those guys bring something. But, probably B.R. Holbrook right now is ahead of the other guys.
Have you seen some of the jitters kind of start to fall off?
A little bit, yeah. We, the first day we were out here, I wondered if we'd ever be able to complete a ball, quite honestly. And then we've had a little bit of wind to deal with. I think today just, not that I'm jumping up and down saying we're ready to go play a game, but we're at least able to complete some passes and throw and catch it, and some wide receivers made some plays. So, yeah, I think a big part of it was just the jitters early on, and I mean they're learning a complete new terminology, offense and defense.
Bob, when you were hiring staff, how did DeAndre Smith come to your attention? Is there a connection, prior connection?
I can't really remember how DeAndre, because he coached here. I knew he had coached here. And I kind of followed his resume, and then he was at UNLV with Mike Sanford, who Mike Sanford was my wide receiver coach at Notre Dame, my first staff. And then he was at Illinois, and I'm pretty close with Ron Zook. So I just knew about DeAndre. And then I went up and actually interviewed Andre in person when they were playing in the San Francisco Bowl. I think it's the Kraft Bowl. And I went up and interviewed him and his entire family, his wife and his two sons, and man, it was automatic for me. Automatic that he really wanted to be here. He appreciated New Mexico. He still had a home here. I just really liked he and his family. I think he's a great role model for our players.
Well, what have you seen from him so far on the practice field?
A lot of, first of all, he can really throw the ball. I mean, that sounds funny, but he was a quarterback in college. He was an option quarterback, so he's got a little stronger arm than I thought. He throws it a little bit better. But I think he brings a lot of stability in a way, because he has been here. I think he's really a positive influence on our running backs. The players are around his office a lot. He has the ability to kind of get them to relax and laugh, but also be pretty stern when he asks them to do something. Just a good guy and a good person is what I see. One thing from an announcement standpoint, Zach Borboom has left the team. He came in, I think it was Wednesday, our first day in pads. before practice and told me that he just didn't have it in him. You can call him and get the exact quotes. He just didn't have it in him. Doesn't want to play football anymore. Doesn't think this is for him, and he's left and gone back to Missouri. We've talked to his dad through the process, but it looks like he's done playing college football altogether. So we wish him well, and not sure what he's going to do, but wish him well.
Coach, getting beat deep was a problem last year. What have you seen from the secondary?
It continues to be a problem. Not that we've thrown a lot of deep balls, but, a big part of it right now, we did give up some big balls today in practice, deep balls. It's not knowing what to do. There were some busted assignments, and then again, our offense is throwing a lot at us. Yeah, I mean, obviously, one of the things we talk about on defense is you can't get beat deep. You can't give up the big play. But, yeah, that's something we're continuing to work at. We actually did. You must have been watching practice a little bit because, there were some deep balls today by the offense.
How's Destry Berry coming in?
Destry's a guy that I think he would be the first to tell you. For an older guy, I think he needs to learn a little more of the urgency that's involved at this level of football to be as good as he can be. I think he's pretty talented. I think he's pretty smart. I think he's a pretty good technique player. But I think he needs to get more sense of urgency in everything he does so he can finish with a strong senior year. For a guy that's a senior, he just doesn't have quite the urgency that I would expect a guy to have that late in his career.
Are there any other seniors that you see stepping up or that you'd like to see?
Nah, that's kind of too general of a question. The thing I've talked to our seniors about is that clock's ticking. A year from now, their college football career is behind them. And, it can be a great experience for them.